Tip that teacher, she's been teaching you. Skip the small change, slap down a 52. Welcome to my classroom. I'm Dr. Nakowitz, and today's topic is Chalk Talks. A chalk talk is essentially a silent conversation that takes place in writing entirely on the board. The teacher usually begins by writing a controversial statement or a deep question that is guaranteed to get the kids talking and responding. One at a time, when the students feel the urge, they come to the board and they respond. They can ask a question, they can deepen the conversation, they can disagree. And the rules are very simple. Everybody in the classroom has to participate at least once. There should be no more than 1 to 3 students at the board at any time. The classroom must be completely silent. And if a student is not at the board, they should be reading the discussion and asking themselves, how can I advance or deepen or further this conversation? Let's take a look at an example. This chalk talk was created by my pre-service English teachers, and the essential question we asked was, what is the purpose of teaching literature? And you can see from the board that the students are drawing lines, they're asking questions, they're responding to specific comments, they're deepening the conversation by asking and trying to pull some threads together. Once we step back and look at this, it becomes an opportunity to model for students how we advance discussion. So why use chalk talks in your classroom? Well, there's several reasons. First of all, if you have a chaotic classroom where discussion is almost impossible, kids are blurting out all the time or talking on top of each other, or you have 1 or 2 or 3 teachers' pets who are dominating conversation. Well, chalk talks allow everyone to participate. The essential rule is that everybody in the classroom has to come to the board at least once. And it's not until that point that the chalk talk is over. And of course, who benefits from this the most? The students who benefit the most from a chalk talk are the shy students who don't like to, as they say, put themselves out there. The students with IEPs who are self-conscious about engaging and participating in conversation. Most importantly, the reason to use a chalk talk is that it models and teaches students how to engage in discourse that actually goes somewhere. We have to explicitly teach kids, if we want to have meaningful discussions in our classroom, and we do, we have to teach kids how to agree with each other, how to disagree with each other in a constructive, meaningful way. We have to teach kids how to ask appropriate questions, how to advance, and more importantly, how to add their own thoughts and be willing to be tentative and just throw out ideas here. The other reason, lastly, to do chalk talks is that it makes thinking visible. So as a teacher, when it comes to instructional scaffolding, after we've done our chalk talk, I'm going to give explicit feedback on the quality of the discussion. I'm going to give explicit feedback to students on how they might probe questions in an appropriate way, or how to say something like, I'm not sure I agree with you. Can you point to something in the text that supports your statement? So this kind of constructive conversation that goes somewhere is one of the real reasons to use chalk talk. Everybody participates. Now, I like to use the chalk talk at the beginning of a unit because it draws out students' prior knowledge. And I would say that the hardest part about doing a chalk talk is coming up with good, rich discussion starters that make the kids want to get up out of their seats and participate. Here's a few examples of some good discussion starters for chalk talks. These examples are ones that I've used in my classroom with great success. They've generated discussion and have also led towards how knowledge is constructed and advanced in certain disciplines. I also like to use it to talk about really big questions. These last few examples are showing how we use chalk talks to bring closure to the end of a unit, to tie all the different threads together. For example, after reading the play Hamlet, it's an opportunity to talk about the choices Shakespeare made. Why did he design the play this way? I particularly like using Chalk Talks to talk about our use of strategies. In the mathematics classroom, for example, this has generated rich discussion. Once again, the rules for Chalk Talk is that there must be complete silence. One at a time, students come to the board, advance the discussion, and students can ask questions, disagree, or add new ideas. I like to model how this is done so students get the hang of it. Once again, thank you for watching. Thanks for stopping by my classroom.